Hello everyone, Bobster1984 back again, and tomorrow Newcastle United are away to Watford. So today I'm doing a preview and a prediction video as I do every week. So, what is going to happen tomorrow? I think if Newcastle play exactly the same squad that played in that first half, in that fantastic first half performance against West Ham last week, Newcastle should piss all over Watford tomorrow. Let's put it this way, Watford have been absolutely shambolic recently in the Premier League. Barring beating Newcastle in the FA Cup, they haven't won in the last 5 games. Now, I do think Newcastle will win. Straight off the bat, I'm going to get it straight out there. I'm going to put it all on the line straight away. Newcastle are going to win tomorrow. It's going to be at least 1 or 2-0. And that is dependent on last week, unfortunately. If Newcastle come out and play with all the fucking bollocks, all of the bravado, all of the attacking intent that they had in that first half, they should blow away what is a poor Watford side at present. Now, Newcastle have this week been linked with 2 players in the transfer market, Saido Berahino and, of course, Andros Townsend. 18 million and 14 million respectively for both players. I think both players are overpriced. Personally, and I think Newcastle are doing the right thing by waiting to get value in both deals. If both come off, necessarily not the greatest signings in the world in terms of what we've already got at the club. I don't think Berahino is worth 18 million, but I do think he's a bright young striker, and of course he's English. Now Townsend, he burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, but where's he been? Yes, I know he's not getting a game at Spurs, but there must be a reason behind it. But anyway, if we get the Townsend that is hungry, it will be a good signing. Now back to tomorrow. I think Newcastle will start with the same squad that started that game last week, and I hope they do. I hope Shelvey has the same sort of debut that he had, and it's obviously not his debut, but I hope he has the same sort of first game that he had for Newcastle, and I hope he does obviously put some more of those highlight reel world-class passes, 60-yarders forward for Newcastle to bang them in the bottom corner, top corner, wherever, as long as they go in the back of the net. Now, I do think that McLaren is going to obviously go with that same squad. I do think he's going to maybe send them out all guns blazing again. I genuinely hope he does. I do think Newcastle should not, have Newcastle in the second half. Obviously, we're prone to have this little bit of nervousness about it. I really hope that doesn't happen, but that can happen. I do think it's going to be one of those. We'll feel the game out. We'll see how we play in the first 10 minutes, and we'll gun for it. I don't necessarily think it'll be, an all guns blazing performance from the start, but I do think that will eventually come in the game. I do think we'll win 1 or 2-0, and I am genuinely back in Newcastle today. As in, if you've watched all my preview videos all season, you will notice there'll be a lot of predictions where I've said, we're going to get humped, and we haven't been. So thankfully, I'm not always right, but I think Newcastle will win tomorrow. Now, I do hope a few players do obviously have good games tomorrow. I do think we are due a couple of good games from players, especially Colback. I think Colback is due a good game. There's talk of him maybe even starting the game at left back. I don't know what that situation is, but there's talk of him even starting at left back. So Saive may even come in for a start. I do think he's due a good game. I think Janmat is due a good game defensively. Offensively, everyone knows what he's like. He's a good player offensively, but defensively, I think we're due a good game. And Bemba needs a good game after his mistake last week, but I think he's allowed at least one mistake after the decent first 6 months he's had on Tyneside. I think it's going to be the same sort of performance from Wijnaldum. A couple of Dutch people have said that I've been pronouncing his name wrong, so I do apologise. It's Wijnaldum, not Wijnaldum as I've been saying, so I will promise and try and get that right in the future. Thanks for pointing it out. Mitrovic as well. I do hope Mitrovic and Wijnaldum work together in that partnership. I've said it again, I do apologise, but it's going to take time. I do hope Mitrovic and Wijnaldum do have a good game in terms of linking up with each other as they were last week. I do hope it's going to be a case of those knockdowns coming from Mitrovic and Wijnaldum is going to be there to put them in the back of the net. I do want Mitrovic to score. I'm really desperate for the lad to score to open play because I do think his hold-up play, his general effort for the team has been nothing short of fantastic in the last couple of games, and I do hope people start getting off his back because I don't think some of the criticism he's had has been justified. So what do you think? Do you agree with me saying it's going to be a 1-0 or a 2-0 win for Newcastle tomorrow? Do you have a different prediction? If you do, leave a comment down below. My name is Bobster1984. Stay subscribed if you've already subscribed to this channel, or if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button for more FIFA and Newcastle United content. I'll see you all later, and hopefully we'll all be celebrating a Newcastle win tomorrow. See you later.